Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again for more of our Origins Bonanza Explosion blog coverage here live at Origins 2019 with my good friend Adam.
Hey there.
And we're here, we're playing games, and we're telling you all about those new and upcoming games. And right now, I got a treat. I got a treat to tell you about. I got something that you're going to be hyped about because we're hyped about it. And that is Nevada City from Rio Grande Games. This is for 2 to 4 players, 69 minutes to play, and it's for 13 plus. And this is by Alan Ernst. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Alan Ernstein. And he actually taught us the game as well, which was really stinking cool. And I do want to mention that we're not going to comment much on the components because this was a prototype. It was a late stage prototype. I think they had some of the production stuff, but most of it was still prototype-y. So we're just be commenting on the game itself. But this is a worker placement game where you're going to be building a Wild West city, a competitive game. So there's this long, skinny board, and you're going to fill up this board throughout the game with different locations you're going to build, which are going to be worker placement spots that other people can go to. And when they go to them, they're going to pay a cost most of the time, and they pay that cost straight to you. Also, you get to use those spots for abso-freaking-lutely free, which, oh my gosh, is super freaking awesome. But it's not just a typical worker placement game where you're going to have, little meeples. You actually have 4 characters. You're going to have a ma, a pa, a father, and a daughter. And everybody's characters are a little bit different. They're good at different things. And these characters are both unique in how many actions they get, but also what they're good at. So some are going to be good at gunslinging, some are going to be good at mining or taking care of the cattle or taking care of the fields and getting you produce, or some are going to be good at building and they're going to provide you with the horseshoe or the wood or something like that. So everybody's got their own unique twerks, but you're also going to be able to purchase workers by hiring them pretty much. And then
Did you say twerks?
Did I? You're going to be able to purchase workers, and then what's really cool is at the end of the year, and we're going to talk so much more about how much the theme comes across in this game, you can actually marry them into your family, which otherwise they just leave because they're kind of workers, so you can marry them into your family, but you're going to have to buy them booze, you're going to have to give them presents. There's also this stuff where there's events that happen, and these events can really shake things up, and everybody has to deal with them, and you're going to be going through a lot of those events, probably like 16, something like that?
Yeah,
6, 10, 12, I don't know, whole bunch of events.
Yeah.
You play over the course of 3 to 4 rounds, you recruit more workers, you build the buildings, and I think that's about it that I'm going to tell you about the description of the game. What did you think about it?
I thought it was great. It was very well balanced. Everything seemed to be figured out very well. There would be things we would mention, and he would be like, "Oh yeah, we thought about that because of this." And the theme was great. We'd be like, "Oh, this is funny because of that." And he'd be like, "Yeah, that's how we designed it."
and what I love about a great game with a great theme is when the theme makes sense, it makes the rules easier to understand because it's like, oh, all these people that used to be workers that we could have potentially hired, and now we didn't hire them, and now they end up turning into outlaws because they need money and they're going to start attacking people. They're going to attack the sheriff first. But if you have a whole bunch of mine, like a whole bunch of silver or whatever, they're going to rob you first, which makes sense thematically because you're rich. And oh my gosh, everything is intertwined. About the only thing that I think didn't fit the theme was a really cool aspect of the game, which is the fact there's a variable market and a variable production. So we didn't even talk about it. You got yourself a little player board here, which is kind of your land. And you're going to have mines on there, and you're going to have fields on there, and you're going to have...
Why do you think that didn't match the theme?
Because the variable market just changed from time to time. It didn't seem like it changed for a particular reason. It was just...
Feast and famine. It wasn't like, oh, we spent a lot of silver, so now there's less silver.
I'm saying compared to everything else in the game, which just totally worked for me theme-wise. That was the only thing where I was like, it just is what it is. It's not a knock in any stretch of the imagination. Because
that was an essential part of the game.
Yeah, that's a really cool part of the game because you have this market, and maybe one round it's really great to sell your plants, but then the next round it's like, oh, they're not worth anything. Or maybe one round you're not going to produce anything when you do it. And so you're never quite sure, and then the events will shake all of that up and just...
Well, and how exactly did the market... I didn't really understand how the market got populated.
So there was some fixed stuff. So there was always going to be the potential to do certain things, I think. And then everything else was kind of random, drawn out of a bag. I don't want to
but there was a certain number in there, right? There was, so many of each one, and then there was one extra.
I don't know. Honestly,
Something
there
like
was
that.
so much going on.
I feel like it was kind of a thing where, you know, it'll either be the production is really high and the sale price is low, or the vice versa, or it'll be balanced.
Well, yeah, there's only 3 options.
Yeah,
right?
well,
I mean, yeah.
no, but for each individual thing, like it's not like, oh, you're gonna be able to
Oh.
buy a lot of this and sell a lot of this all at once.
That makes sense.
So like this turn you might buy a bunch, and then next turn it's different. So you're gonna sell all that stuff that you produced in the previous, era. But I don't know how.
I didn't really notice. I wasn't selling that much.
Yeah.
To start
I was
off,
selling a lot, so I did.
I really like the fact that there's a bunch of different buildings. They all do different things. I love the fact that you can use your own buildings. That was incredibly useful, and it really shaped, like, I want the points on this building, but this special ability, if I get to use it, is just fantastic. I think they got a real big hit on their hands.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, if they can get the components and the rule booklet to be great. And the other thing was, it's 60 to 90 minutes. Our game lasted way longer than that. But, 4 completely new people. And I think and the thing was, the first round was a long one. The second and third round, it was much snappier because it just sort of clicked and everything started to make sense. And this might be my favorite game that I played at the show. Like, I am absolutely excited to try this one again when it's finally released. I think this is going to be one that really, I hope a lot of people get on
I hope
the
that
table.
it's a really good rule book.
Because, that theme comes across and felt well balanced. Our game was pretty close. We didn't mention there's contracts, too. There's all these contracts. You go to different locations, and all the contracts work. Like, you go to certain locations to get different contracts. Just, oh my gosh, so much good stuff. So much going on.
Oh,
but
stuff can catch on fire.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay the fire department to come put it out.
And the fire department, that was huge. Like,
Yeah.
I think I would have had a decent chance to win the game if I would have taken the fire department instead of something else I took because, great.
I went at one point, if I had married that guy into my family instead of letting him go,
Yeah, and that's huge because it's like you don't want to spend those resources because the booze is coming. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the bad.
It's got a lot going on. We're still thinking about it.
Yes, and you should definitely give this one a whirl if you like medium weight heroes. I think you're absolutely worker placements especially,
When
or
did
the
you say
Wild
release
West
for
team.
this?
I think this is Gen Con release maybe or Essen. I think Gen Con. But there you go. Nevada City Rio Grande Games. Put this one on your radar. Fantastic game. If you're enjoying what we're doing, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. Go to support the channel. Click on the little Amazon Associates link down below. Buy anything on Amazon. Throw us a couple pennies my way. And in the comments below, let me know, have you ever shot?
I got this one.
Go.
What's the most awkward situation you've been in recently?
Recently. You go first, man. There's so many.
So it was yesterday actually earlier today. We got done, and there was a guy that he almost patted me on the back, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye, but then he decided in the middle to stop, and it was super awkward, and I just walked away.
Yeah, that's pretty awkward. Man, I don't know off the top of my head. I guess it would probably be just that teenager. We played a game with King of Tokyo, and there was just a really awkward teenager. We had 2 teenagers we almost played with today. Both of them were pretty dang awkward.
Dude, that guy gave Ronnie really good letters.
He did give him really good letters, but it was just like, are you playing? I don't know.
Playing on his phone.
Yeah.
That's
Learn
what
in the
he's
comments
playing.
below. What's the last awkward situation you got into? And as always, thanks for your time, you two.